Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 103 of the Self-Publishing Roundtable, the podcast for indie authors by indie authors, where we discuss today's topics and issues that matter to the business of the self-published author. I am your moderator, Wade Finnegan, and my co-panelists are Michelle Reed. Oh, wait a minute. No, Michelle Reed is not here, and I am, in fact, not Wade Finnegan. I'm Xavier Granville, and with me
You're Finn Wade again.
yeah, I'm Finn Wade again. I'm Wade's alter ego. And joining me tonight, I have a co-panelist, and that is Matt Morris.
Hey, what's up?
And of course, we have our special guest for tonight, author John L. Monk.
Howdy. Good to be
Great.
here.
I feel like I should be playing. I'll play the role of Xavier. I should change my name to Xavier. Hello,
Okay.
Internet.
Yeah, hello, internets. Michelle will be joining in at some point. She's apparently throwing her hashtag Thursday face on, so we'll see how things go from here. And lacking Wade, so things are going to be a little interesting with me in charge. So be prepared, internets. I'm not usually used to this level of power.
Yeah, you got a lot of pressure going on you right now.
I know, and I'm shaking. I gotta grab my drink.
My first time on SPRT, you were the host as well because Wade wasn't present.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I should blame you. I don't know.
I don't know because I've been on a lot of these lately, so I'm just starting to
that's
universal.
true.
Every Thursday,
Yeah,
I get a little text from someone. Hey, you want to do the show
Yeah.
tonight? I always say, yeah, sure, why not?
You're good at it.
I would say that we should start paying you, but I don't even get paid. So
Oh, I'm gonna hold you to that.
yeah,
My bill is in the
the day-
mail.
yeah. The day that I start getting paid, Matt Morse is going to be knocking.
Hey Xavier, we're kind of hogging the show here. We should let John talk.
Yes, very much so. I think the best way to let John talk for himself would be for him just to give a quick intro for anyone who's listening and has no idea who is John L. Monk.
Okay. I am John L. Monk. I'm a self-published author. I've written now 4 books. One of them's in pre-order. My series is called the Jenkins Cycle. It's a series about a guy who he commits suicide, and he comes back to life again and again in the bodies of awful people, killers, rapists, terrible, terrible people. And he, for the most part, doesn't care too much about them, except for that he gets to have a good time. He gets to go fishing, and he gets to go eat pizza, read fantasy novels, and stuff like that. And I mean, he doesn't like them. He basically has to do something with them before he's kicked out. That's why the book is called Kick. And so there's always this war going on between having fun and doing a duty and doing right by the world. So that's that. I also wrote a book about a thief, total genre hop. It's like one of the most realistic burglary novels that you'll read, in my opinion. Everything will work. So if you read it, there's the warning: don't do it. But you asked about me. I turned 40, had my midlife crisis. Now I've written 4 books. Stopped playing WoW. Got contacted today, incidentally, by a fellow WoW player from the old days, which is really cool. And now I want to play WoW again, but I'm not going to do it.
Do not fall back.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I've never played it, but I've had friends who I've lost to WoW.
It's better than life, and that's a problem.
No, it's not. It's
I
not.
literally know marriages of friends that have ended.
My boss actually met his
fair, it
wife
wasn't-
through WoW. So.
It wasn't because of WoW. It was because of Star Wars Galaxies, like way old school, before WoW.
Yeah, I used to play EverQuest. I actually knew the guy. I used to mud with the guy who invented EverQuest, who started it. His character name was Aradune, and if you had gone into the Kino sewers, spray painted on the wall, you would see Aradune is stinky. And I'm like, I know that guy. I know that guy. I'm almost famous or something. That's yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So what else? I got my degree in cultural anthropology, and I work as an IT guy right now. I'm checking my sales rank every 3 hours to see if I'm a millionaire yet. So far, no, I'm not a millionaire yet. But I'm having a lot of fun doing the whole self-pub thing. probably more than any person should.
When did you get started with self-publishing? When did you publish your first novel? I think that was Kick, right?
Yeah, it was in 2013, July 4th.
July 4th.
Worst possible day to publish anything, and I did it. Very few people bought it. I got a book sends in October. 70 people bought it. I had a pretty high review to download ratio. Free did really well by me. I was able to clock at one time with a Pixel of Ink advertisement at 160 downloads per review. That was pretty good. So
nice.
Yeah, I've made most of my money by going free, but obviously it was always on book 2, and that started back in November. So, and that's on Amazon. And the funny thing is I'm making way more money now on Apple than I am on Amazon. If you were to go look at my sales rank on Amazon right now, it's not really that good. I expect that to change when Hopper House comes out, and I have a really cool omnibus coming out with a really cool cover. It's the 3 books, but the way they look together is absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had a comment from someone on the website who was inquiring who did the covers for your books.
Oh, first 2 were done by Damon Za, as everybody must know, the great Damon Za, and the third one was done by E.E. Georgi. She's a scientist/author, and she's absolutely amazing. She's one of my awesome indies, which I'll hopefully talk about in the show. Multi-talented. I mean, what are you going to do? And she's also beta-read. She beta-read Hopper House, too, and she liked it, which is really awesome.
Well, it's always great to have those kind of relationships where when someone will read a book, they'll actually offer out, a book designing service just because they enjoyed the book that much.
Oh, well, she's not that nice. I'm going to be editing her second book in the Kayla series, which is a young adult series set in the future with these really cool cyborgs. They have these, everybody's a cyborg because they've got all these birth defects and everything. The first book was absolutely phenomenal. I helped edit that. Any problems anybody finds in it, those are my problems. So, but it was a beautiful book, and I'm sure the second one will also be great, and that's why she's an awesome indie.
Well, and I love how, like you said, there's all these different ways that just the 2 of you as independent authors are collaborating through various means.
Yeah, and that's actually part of my strategy. It's such a cold word, strategy. It is a strategy, though. I like people, and I love the indie movement. I love talking to all the indies. I'm sending emails all the time. I sent an email to Matt Morris after I heard his wonderful show. So I like being a part of that whole community, and we can definitely help each other. And that's one of the things I do with the Awesome Indies over on my site. I might as well get into it now.
That's what I was going to inquire about. I thought that was a great little thing that you have on your website.
Thank you. It basically, I decided that I wanted to read more more independent publishers. Because, I was always going back to the old favorites, and you can't go wrong with Jim Butcher. You simply can't. Or Robert V. Parker. You simply can't. But when you go with an indie, well, you're taking a chance if their book isn't free. You're taking a chance if you value your time. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen. There's been no gatekeeper there. So I challenged myself to read more. And after much looking, I found 8 awesome indies. And that started early 2014. Now, many people are awesome indies. I just haven't read them yet. And what it is I don't tell anybody I'm reading a book by a potential awesome indie. I just read it, and if I like it, I contact them and ask for permission to stick it up on my blog. Usually what happens is Lindy Moon, who's the first awesome indie, and in many ways the most awesome of all, if I had to pick a favorite, which is terrible, but she's just such a wonderful person, and she's been recommending books to me. She recommended Carol Irvin, this incredibly awesome historical fiction writer, who also just out of nowhere wrote a dystopian science fiction novel, which is my favorite of all, I mean, in my opinion, it's right up there with Dune, even though that wasn't dystopian.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely what Stephen Campbell would say in that blog post I reblogged the other day is a tell your friends great book. So it's called Who is Del Zero? So that's Carol Irvin. There's P.T. Hilton, who wrote Regulation 19 and some others. He's written 2 follow-ups. There's Mark Capel. He's this British guy. He writes some really moody, weird, strange, incredibly beautiful stories, books. There's E.J. Robinson. He writes this sort of like a hero's journey, young adult stuff. He's a recent addition. Shoot, there's Harvey Click, one of the most amazing horror writers, hands down, that I have ever read, and I will read anything he writes. That goes ditto with everybody, but Harvey is, I like what he writes. I recommend anybody here pick up the Bad Box. You will not be disappointed. If you read the Bad Box all the way to the end and don't like it, I will give you a gift card, up to 10. Okay, so that's what I can afford. So
how big of a gift card?
For the price you paid for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Let me see here. I must have written it down.
I think it's a really cool idea because it's just kind of sharing. It's promotion, right? So it's just word of mouth, which is usually the best kind of promotion a book can get.
I forgot one guy, Dan C. Renert. He wrote a book called Dan's Lame Novel. It's absolutely amazing. It's the most ridiculously funny, stupid book I've ever read in my life. So there you go. And that's why they're awesome indies.
Well, and I think that's great because a lot of traditional publishers would be doing these types of things, but they obviously would be cross-promoting with those within their label. So like a books sold within Tor Fantasy, you'd have a large stacking of fantasy authors. If you like this, then you probably like this. And I think it's just great that rather than focusing on things, like labels or genre-defining attributes, you are kind of just looking at indies as a whole, and that's the well that you're deriving any kind of marketing towards. You're only endorsing indies specifically, not any other kind of delineation. It's just indies in general.
Yeah, but actually, with the caveat that I'm not going to promote Hugh Howey or, he must be great. I'm sure he's great, but they don't need my help. Not that I'm that helpful. I'm simply but one person, But I don't need to promote him anymore. He needs to promote me because he's amazing.
Maybe when you get something from Hugh Howey, then you'll promote him.
Yeah, he's kind of an amazing guy just in general. So.
Well, and in general, it's good to see people from that level up still committing to the indies as far as giving out relevant information and inspiration. So I think in general there's a lot of a very range of different types of people who have ranging success, but no matter what, the indie community is live and strong and slowly becoming more independent in its own self.
Yeah, there was talk was it yesterday on the Sell More Book Show about how we got to find another name because indie means independent bookstores and self-publishers kind of stigmatized, and I think they agreed that what was wrong with author, so
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because pretty soon those other old school people are just going to go away. I mean, the bookstores, everybody loves a good bookstore, but how long is that going to last? So.
Well, and I think there is also that thing to just taking yourself seriously as an author, if that is what you are indeed, because no matter what, if you're going to be putting a book out on whatever format, technically that makes you an author. You could claim that you're indie, or you can claim that you're traditional published, but you don't want any of those attributes to things that you fall back on. You shouldn't feel any way or other about being self-published or being traditionally published. You shouldn't think that being an indie is a shameful thing, and you shouldn't think that traditional publishing is 100% always a good thing.
That's right. Yeah, I am just so happy to be involved with the traditional the self-publishing movement. That's why I listen to all these podcasts. If you were to go over my site, you'll see just a long list of podcasts over in that other tab, the podcast tab, and these are the people that kind of give me my power. I wrote a post over on Simon Whistler's blog, a guest blog, talking about writer's block, and it turned out that I didn't have writer's block. I had lazy person's block, and I just didn't realize
the worst kind of block.
Yeah, I just didn't realize how much work it was, and I just assumed that when I wrote a book, that would be it. That would be good enough, and it wasn't good enough. So I sat down and I tried to write book 2, and the words wouldn't come. And, half of it was a sort of hopelessness. Book 1 didn't sell. Maybe I suck. So then I started listening to Simon Whistler's blog, and that's the Rocking Self-Publishing podcast. And I saw all these just amazing, peppy people who were just doing it, and they weren't looking back. They were not apologetic. They were self-publishers, and they were here to stay, and that just gave me so much power. And what did I do? It took about 2 months. I pumped out Fool's Ride. I got it edited. I got the cover done. I even got Damon's Awe to do a rush job on the cover because I had gotten a book bug, and that's when everything just got amazing. I made a lot of money on Fool's Ride for me, a lot of money for me. And I just got so much validation that I could do this twice, that I wasn't a one-trick pony. And now now I have an Apple rep, of all things. Now it's almost like for those who don't have an Apple rep, at least in my case, there is no paperwork signed, there's no handshake. It's just like, I'm still answering your emails, John. I'll promote that. So she promoted Thief's Odyssey, which is my non-magical series. And she's going to promote my omnibus. So it's been just a wonderful, every day there's something new. There's always something to do. Before the show, I was talking to Matt about how I'm reformatting all my books in vellum, so that's something to do, and I just absolutely love it. It's so much more rewarding than making magic swords in World of Warcraft. I'll tell you that.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And magic swords are awesome, also.
They're really cool. If I had a magic sword, I would.
And they don't give back, unfortunately.
And sometimes you can't sell them in the auction hall either. It's just ridiculous.
First of all.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's in the same respect of, I bet you the farm that you have in Farmville is doing great, but I do not want to get another invite.
That's right. That's right. I have bad enough trouble with my own garden to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the topic of indies, and as far as we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago when we had some people on talking about conventions and how slowly the indie communities started to branch out more into conventions. And my main complaint, or at least criticism, was that in general there's not many speculative fiction conventions rather than mystery or romance, specifically romance. So many romance conferences. Yeah, in the email that you had sent me, you had mentioned that you're going to be going to one, and there's going to be a couple bigger authors there. You got P.T. Hilton and Orson Scott Card. Yeah, do you mind talking to us a bit about that convention?
I refuse. No,
okay. All right. Moving on.
No. It's called SFSE. It's Speculative Fiction Southeast, because it's going to take place in Florida or Orlando. It's pretty cheap. I think the tickets were like $70. Do not quote me. They're pretty cheap for a convention. It's a writers' convention. for speculative fiction, but mainly primarily geared towards independent authors. They have an absolute ton of panels and things to do when you get there. So don't even doubt that it's not like a real kind of thing or whatever. If you were wondering, I mean, Orson Scott Card is going to be there. I'm going to be there. You know, P.T. Hilton is going to be there. He's a great guy. Tons of panels. I'm looking forward to them. They also have contests where traditionally published bigwigs will critique your first chapter or first 3 chapters. I think you can win that, or you could even pay for it. It's not like a go there a la carte, pay for a bunch of stuff place. It's you go there and you go to the panels. They have one on the cost of self-publishing. You know, they have like stuff on, you know, perspectives and fiction and character versus plot and all the things that you'd want to talk about as a writer. And of course, they've got all the marketing stuff that you could learn as well. So I am so looking forward to this. I've had to hear podcast after podcast by our man Rosamilia on the Dead Sexy Horror podcast talking about how he goes to all these conventions and how he knows everybody, you know, and finally I get to go to one. The last convention I ever went to was a science fiction convention in, it was 1993 or 94. I was working at a pet store at the time, and I met the most amazing people. I met the late Charles Sheffield. I met Larry Niven. I met David Feintook. He's passed away. All these people, you know, that are just like my idols. I met them. That was such a great experience, and I just don't know why I never kept it up. I never did it again, and now I get to do something like that again, and I hope I keep it up. And I hope I see you all there.
Yeah.
And that's the you said, sorry, it was the SFSE. Did I say that right?
Science fiction. Speculative fiction Southeast. So SFSE2015.com.
Perfect. In September in Florida.
September 25th through 27th. It straddles a weekend. Yeah, and you can get all the information is on the site. You can get the you can get your hotel tickets through there. They're fairly cheap, at least for me. I don't know, $100 or something.
I like how you said it straddles the weekend, because that's like the most masculine thing that a sci-fi convention probably has ever done.
Is that a Labor Day weekend? I would assume. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
No, Labor Day's the beginning of September.
Right. Yeah, beginning of September.
Yeah, I don't know when Labor Day is. So
I don't follow
it's always the week that school begins after.
Yeah, they tell me on Friday.
For the youngsters.
Yeah, I don't have kids. Not that I know of. Haha. So.
Neither do I, but I'm young enough to remember my kids' years, I guess.
Yeah. So you guys gonna go? Put you on the spot.
Well, I'm in Canada, so unless I can figure out a way to ship me across the border, I'll figure it out.
I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
I think that's a no for both of us, though.
Michelle Reed said that she was interested in going. So.
If Michelle's going to be there.
I've been to some conventions. I'm just not. I mean, I don't go to the conventions where it would be me as like the author, because I don't share that stuff, and I don't. And they're not good for selling books. I don't. Generally speaking, they're good for networking, connecting with people. But
yeah.
Other than that, I just don't get much out of them. So I've never really been super interested in the convention culture.
Yeah, I just love. I love other indies. I love what it is we're doing. It's just so fun for me, and you know, I want to connect. I don't even care if I ever sell a single book at one of these things. I'm not going there for that. I'm not on the show today because I, you know, want to sell books. If I didn't sell a single book, I wouldn't care, because I got to talk to you two and just sort of like you know, be on one of the hottest self-pub podcasts that are out there, in my opinion. It's just really cool to do. So, and I appreciate the invite.
No, yeah, no, and I remember when I first approached you, you weren't even sure that you were up to that caliber yet, as far as being a guest. But and that's always been my kind of thought about the community first, whether people think that they have a story to tell or not. that's up to the listener to decide. And a lot of people will glean and garner things from what is said that you really didn't intend to be inspirational or anything like that. But at the same time, there's always going to be that person. It's like goes back to that old thing of when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, kind of a thing.
Ooh, goosebump. Yeah. As far as not thinking I was the right caliber or something, I guess I just wanted to get more sales under my belt. And now that I just feel like I still kind of have that feeling like, you're not successful unless you have the dollars or something like that, which is it's just totally silly and it's not right. But whatever. And it's not even that much. I mean, I got lucky with the Apple rep. An author, a really big, huge romance author who was recently number 13 in the entire Amazon store. I can't say her name, but she read my book months ago, and she sent me a note months ago saying, oh my God, I love your book. And I was like, wow, that's awesome of you. Your crazy sales rank, it's giving me nosebleeds. And then I was just like, I left it alone. I didn't ask her to review me. I didn't ask her to pit me out to her friends or anything. And a couple months later, I was curious how she was doing. I hit like or something like that on one of her little Facebook posts and struck up a little conversation, and she started pimping me out to her readers, saying, and I was just getting a bunch of sales over on Amazon. I was like, wow, she's got some really loyal readers, and her readers are now like every week or something, they're posting my book covers on this share your book cover favorite books and stuff, and then she said, the author said, oh my God, I want to introduce you to my sales rep. And I'm like, really? You want to do that? Okay. Thank you. And she did, and poof, it was really awesome. And I wish that everybody could have an Apple rep because it's just so cool. And I hope that she keeps replying to my emails to promote new books because, as I said, there's no kind of agreement. It's just like whether or not she's interested in what I have to sell, whatever release She liked. By the way, she's interested in the omnibus. I sent her the cover, and she's like, "Wow!" So I'm like, "Wow," because the cover is amazing. Thank you, E.E. Georgie, for putting that together.
Well, and you had recently won a Bragg Award or Bragg Medal. What was that award for? For Kick? I know it was for Kick, but can you explain that one for us?
Right. Well, you pay $20, and a guy named Louis comes around and gives you your medal. I'm kidding. No, there's a. It's actually quite the opposite. It's this wonder. It's sort of like the awesome indies with more money behind it. Somebody must have gotten really pissed off at traditional publishing because they made this site. I forget the name. Just do an indie Bragg search in Google, and you'll see the Bragg site. And basically, they promote good indie authors, okay? And if you don't get a medal, it doesn't mean you're not good. It just means that whatever, you know how that is, right? But basically, for $20, they give it to a panel of their chosen readers, and they look to make sure it's got a good cover, good blurb, good editing, good flow, whatever it is that they care about. And then they read the books. They have these volunteers who read the books. They love books or whatever. So, and if they like the book, if they they finish the book and they like it, you get a Bragg medal. And basically, a Bragg medal, you get placement on their site. If you send them a physical book, they take it to conventions like SFSE. I don't know if they're going to be there, but that would be the perfect place for them to go. And they have it out on the table and say, "Oh my God, these are the Bragg Award people. You should buy their books." And you get a little sticker for your physical books, and you get a kind of like a graphic that you can put on your digital book, which is what I did. I'm trying it out, and I put at the top, "Hey, I'm a Bragg winner," And I think what I did, I don't know if I said, that only 10% of the applicants kind of get through. That's what they say. And it's not going to make you any money. It's not. It's and maybe it'll sway somebody to buy the book. It's not like the gusher just hits. It's just more like it's just cool to have. I know Joanna Penn has one. I'm sure you've all heard of her. So now I got one, and if you get one, that's cool too. E. Georgie has one. So.
Well, Kick does have. I saw on Amazon about 250 reviews on there. So I think it counts as something eventually as time goes on.
Yeah, I got very lucky with the free stuff. I got the BookBub. I gave away 24,000 copies, and that's where the majority of the reviews came in. And even to this day, I'm getting, except for this week, I'm getting like at least 1 or 2 sales of Fool's Ride a day. That's going to dry up because I'm not going to go free again, I think. Never slam the door in public completely, but I don't think I'm going to go free again. I want to look for non-discount buyers at this point. I've got the reviews. Thank you, discount buyers. But I think I want to go ahead and just sort of, I don't know. I'll just tell you right now, over on Apple, they are price resilient. They will buy anything for a reasonable price, and that price is up to like $9.99. So I've upped all my prices everywhere up to, it's now $4.99 to buy one of my books. And what happened today, and I only did it like 2 days ago, what happened today is I hit number 10 in paranormal over on Apple. And that's pretty cool because I was at like 150 yesterday. So, that's cool. So, higher prices, trying to get away from the whole discount model, but I might still do it. If I end up with like 10 books in the Jenkins cycle, I'll probably do it like Russell Blake does and just have my first book free and just deal with it. I just know that that's a good way to get more bad reviews and things like that, which is it's a risk you got to take, and so far I've been pretty lucky. So.
Yeah, my experience, the first book free is always. I mean, I've seen my biggest sales whenever I do free promotions and put the first books in a series free. And you do open yourself to more bad reviews, but you open yourself to a lot more readers. And
yeah,
for me, it's never even been an issue of consideration of, I'm going to get a lot more bad reviews, but I'm going to get more good reviews. I'm also going to get more sales. Everything goes up. And everything going up for me has always been, it makes sense.
Now I shall tell you the story of the awesome indie Carol Irvin. That's Ervin. Yeah, I always get I and E mixed up there. Carol Irvin, when I first met her, after Lindy Moon told me about her, she was selling a book a month. Okay, and that was in I think 2014. One book a month in her Mountain Woman series. And then she wrote book 2, and she wasn't doing that much better, but she was getting more sales. And then she did an audiobook, and then she did book 3. And then she went absolutely crazy with sales. First book was never free. She was doing countdowns and things like that. And the Mountain Woman series is not romance. It's historical fiction. There's some romance in there, just like there's romance in my books. But she was selling full price, never went free, and her books were $2.99. And she did so well that, eventually she went on Simon Whistler's show. I'm so proud of her. And so I think that if she can do that, in a non-romance genre, I think that I can do that, and a lot of indies can do that. So at least for now, not shutting the door all the way. I'm going to stay away from free. Besides, it would kill me over on Apple where I'm selling book 1. I'm just doing that right now. So not everybody has an Apple rip. I totally get it.
I had a question from the audience, just asking if you can go into a little bit more about those first reviews. I know you said that you were able to give away quite a few books, and you said that you had the BookBub. Was there any other little things that you can recommend as far as getting those first reviews for those budding indies out there?
Right. I'll tell you right now, the BookBub was great, but I got my first 100 reviews without ever seeing a BookBub. I got it using ENT, which is very easy to get. You can get an ENT, just have a good cover. Maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 reviews or something. They'll put you out there. The free is always good. I'll tell you right now, like I think that if you just go free, what I've noticed, if you just go free and you don't tell anybody about it, like Pixel of Ink doesn't find out, or 100 free books does not find out, and let's say you give away 1,000 books or 500, you're not going to get a lot of reviews. And I've seen this from other indie authors that I'm in association with. You have to go through a site. And the reason why is because people who they wait for these emails to come in telling them what to read or suggesting what to read. And then they're much more likely to read the book. It doesn't sit there on their Kindle like a treasure, a dragon's treasure that they just sort of guard but never spend. So definitely go with sites. 100 free books is a great place to go. You want to let them know that your book is free. Pixel of Ink, I don't think you can let them know. You just got to hope. BookSends, I think it's expensive. I think it's like $100 for them to do a free, but they'll get you a lot of downloads. And there's some other ones out there too that I haven't quite tried, like Free Booksy and Bargain Booksy and some others. So there you go. I would just do free. You can also go. There's a Fiverr guy. What's his name? Does anybody remember?
Are you talking about BK Knights?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if his downloaders are real or not. There was some speculation over on Kboards.
Yeah, there's always speculation with those the mass services as far as be it Facebook, Twitter, or it's hard to tell whether or not they are ghost accounts and stuff like that. There is a lot up in the air when it comes to relying on those types of people.
There is one other place that I got some reviews. My very first 10 reviews, in there was 2 Vine Voice reviewers. One of them at the time was a top 500 reviewer. He's now top 1,000 reviewer. I guess he's slacked off. So take that as a review, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But basically, I went through. If you do a Google search for like top reviewers on Amazon or something, eventually you'll use the right string of search terms and you'll find the list of all the reviewers on Amazon ranked all the way up. And you can just go through, like I said, well, I'm going to go through the top 500, and you look for reviewers that are, 1, cool, 2, they read the books that you like to read and stuff that you like. You go read a couple of their reviews, you get an idea about like who they are, what they're about. A lot of them have their email address right there, or they have their website, and you can get a contact form through that. So I contacted 2 of them. A guy named Thomas Duff and another fellow. And I sent them heartfelt emails saying, hey, it's not a form spammy thing. I don't think I wrote that in there, but it was clear it was not a form spammy thing. I think I referenced how I liked that book too, and I made sure that it was true. I want to deal honestly with people, whatever it is that they had reviewed. And I wrote about, I think it must have been 10 to 15 of these folks. 3 of them wrote back. 2 of them gave me Vine Voice reviews, and the 3rd wanted me to review their book too, and I shied away from that. I didn't want to be one of those. And incidentally, he was, I'm not going to say his name, but he was a top 25 Amazon reviewer, so I turned it down. I just didn't get back with him. I let it drift away because I was kind of still hoping he would just read my book anyway. But you know what? Ultimately, I didn't need it, so. There you go. Approach Amazon reviewers by email and just stomach through it. I didn't get any luck with bloggers, though. I tried doing that with bloggers. One thing I want to try doing is approaching some of these booktubers with their hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube. I can get one of those guys. That would be awesome.
Yeah, you don't hear
really
that.
They can have really big followings. From what I've seen, a lot of them, the ones I've seen anyways, are all YA. So if you're writing YA or YA fantasy specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do hear that a lot too. Wow. Yeah, and you just don't hear YouTube as much as far as the tools that, as far as social media goes, that authors as much are using.
Yeah, I think Brian Cohen was doing something on YouTube sometime back. Brian Cohen showing. I don't think
Yep,
he does
that was
those anymore.
that was fun. But yeah, I did notice that he started to dry up because speaking from someone who worked in the television and film industry for a good 3-4 years, it's a lot of work. And as far as the division of time, if your main goal is to be putting out books, oh boy, maybe a YouTube show is not for you.
Yeah, I don't understand how Matt Morris can do a daily show and still write and wear that pirate outfit at the same time.
And come on here to co-host the show when Michelle apparently does not want to show up.
Yeah, he's kind of superhuman if you ask me. I'm not sure he's a. I think he might be an alien. So.
I might be.
At least an alien pirate, yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
We've been messaging Michelle to find out what's going on. As far as that I'm aware of, she's still attempting to put her children to sleep. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see or hear from her by the end of the show. But I'm thinking that her kids are just ruling her. And they're just like on like a pedestal or a podium, and she's just like at the bottom looking up to them. Yes, masters.
I hope everything's okay. Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing her tonight, as every night that she's on.
Oh, she does bring that air of femininity that we so need on this bro show.
I'd like to give a quick shout out to Zach Bohannon, who I first heard him on the Rocking Self-Publishing podcast, and he talked about how he wrote a weight loss book about losing 100 pounds, and I wrote him back, and I was like, oh my god, I'd lost 50 pounds, I went low carb, never felt better in my life. My wife has lost 140 pounds. Wow, and she's doing amazing, and she's just looks beautiful. She always did, but she's out there doing Tough Mudders and things like that. Just crazy, way healthier than I am. And so I wrote Zach, and I said, hey, I want to write a nonfiction book after my third book, Kick, of the Jenkins cycle. Just like you wrote that weight loss book, and so he remembered me, I think, because last week when you said we're going to have John Monk on this week or next week, he goes, that should be a good show. And I remembered that, and that made me feel really good because I've never been on a video podcast before, and I've been thinking about that. So I appreciate that, Zach.
Yeah, Zach did a great job last week in coming in and filling in for the guest spot. He was kind of just on the panel, and that's one thing that I would like to see more and more. Having, as much as I love talking for every now and then and queuing in the guest every now and then, I do like to see a good panel of 5 to 6 people talking about specific things, and Zach did a great job last week when we had him on.
Yeah, I like seeing Jay Thorne too. He's always good to watch and to listen to. He's a very smart guy.
And you were there too, Matt. Holy crap! You do need to be paid for this.
Yeah, I saw one of the comments from the show. I remember that too. It said, "Is just Matt a regular now?"
Yeah.
It's been like the last 3 or 4 weeks where I get a text every Thursday.
Yeah, we'll leave that up to the audience to decide.
Yeah.
And then Matt will curse us every week when we just repeatedly keep calling him.
I was almost out of town, so but that's
almost. Almost. All right. Well, I'll blame Michelle for this because at least she could be there because I'm pretty sure she was the one that messaged you.
Oh, today was Wade. Wade. Last week was Michelle.
Yeah. Wade.
She also messaged me. So.
The last that I had heard, Wade was at Disney World, and he was going to be bringing us back Mickey ears, which I only assumed that he was ripping from Mickey himself.
That would be wonderful. He did.
That's the only way I'd want him.
It would have been great to have one of him mugging Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
We did have a we had a comment, and to address it real quick since we have some time, Krishan had brought up the notion of just talking about talking about price versus length of a book, and kind of saying, oh, $4.99, how long are those books? And I think that it brings up a kind of an incorrect thought, and the way people should be viewing or pricing their work is that you don't need to price higher only for longer things. You can write short stuff and still price it highly.
Yeah, the same movie that is an hour and 20 minutes is the same price as the movie that's 3 hours, by Peter Jackson. So, and the other thing is just how much is $4.99? It's the price of a expensive drink over at Starbucks that you'll throw in the trash a half hour later if it's hot. And a movie, it's gone in an hour and 20 minutes or whatever. The book could last you all week if you don't read it all in one sitting, and you might read it again one day. And I worked on it for 2 years, so possibly. Book one I did, I think. Yeah.
Well, and that's a good point to bring it up to other things. I try not to. I did that earlier in my career of comparing it, like, oh, well, it's just the price of coffee or whatever, and that's not how people view it. I would view it more as comparing it to your market, comparing it to other authors in your market, what they're offering. But yeah, the length doesn't necessarily matter. More so than anything, it's going to be a branding concern. It's going to be a business decision, and it's going to. I mean, it's going to be a bunch of other, whether or not you're trying to create a funnel and do different things with price incentives. But length is not and shouldn't be a determining factor at all. Even short stories, especially if you're going to be in Kindle, things like Kindle Unlimited. If I'm in Kindle Unlimited, things do not get priced under $2.99. I just don't do it. And so that becomes the floor pricing for the model that I use, because it is available on Kindle Unlimited and people can download it for free. And so there's a lot of other considerations that will go into it for pricing. Length could be one of them, but is far from the most important.
A good podcast to listen to, if you want to hear some interesting take on pricing of your indie books, is the episode 71 of the Self-Publishing Podcast with Johnny, Sean, and Dave. And they had on Christine Catherine Rush and Dean Wesley Smith. Now, granted, those two are wildly successful, but they're definitely worth listening to when it comes to price. And they had a lot of cool things to say about how, it's trying to remember you don't want to have the perception that your stuff is cheap. It's the bargain bin, things like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think you got to come off as professional no matter what, but also have an assurance of quality, almost. Like you want to have not only the cover to be justifying the price, you don't want just the blurb to be justifying the price, you do want that book to be justifying that price. You want everything to be the reason calculated as to why it is that price, and you want it to be justified. Whether you go above that or below, it's up to you. But you should, I think, what Matt's saying and what I think John's saying too, you should try to eliminate going below as much as possible. Do try to push yourself to that level of professionalism in your daily life, but also in your marketing, because you do want to come off as being a legitimate and professional writer, because that is what you are, is it not?
That's what I am. And I'll tell you right now, when Jim Butcher releases his next book for $11.99 in digital only, or a digital format, I will grin and I will buy the damn thing, because I know it's going to be a blast. And not because of how many pages it is. He could write a grocery list and I would read it. So that's just how I feel about it. And you know what? Honestly, if I got to lose sales, and I think I'm losing some sales over on Amazon. If I got to lose sales for a while as I just go ahead and write, I'm just going to keep writing the next book and the next book and the next book. And then later on, when I get tired of losing sales, then I'll just, I'll lower the price of book one, probably to $2.99. Heck, I might even do free, like we were talking about, if I go 10 books. I just do it. No, I'm not slamming the door on anything. I just think for right now, I'm comfortable with my sales, especially, thank God, for Apple.
Yeah, I mean, I like the advice of listening to Christina Rush and Dean Wesley Smith. I forgot, blanked on their name for a second. Sorry. They do have an interesting take on it. Their takes are not always perfect for the sales funnels that can be put out for indie publishers. So listen to them, take their advice with a little bit of a grain of salt, and experiment, try things out. So for like you, John, whenever you said I could drop it to $2.99, way better coming from a $4.99 price point is to drop it to 99 cents and do some promotions on it, because that's going to get you a huge boost. Do that for a few days and then up the price again. You're going to see a lot more results on that than just going $2.99. You won't make as much money doing it to 99 cents during that window, but you're going to get a lot more visibility, and whenever the price goes back up, you'll make a lot more money then. Also, the idea is to create that backlog of books so that the 99 cents, you're not making money there. You're making money whenever you sell books 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And that's also the idea behind doing perma-free and having the perma-free models and having those funnels built in, is because you're not making money on that first book. You're making money on all the other books whenever you bring those readers into the fold.
Totally agree. It's just I will say, like I said, right now, if I were to drop my book book one, to 99 cents on Amazon, I would have to do it over on Apple. And if I do it over on Apple, I'm not gonna. You don't see the sudden jump in sales over there for that. As I said a while ago, simply raising my price. And today I was number 10 in paranormal, whereas I guess a day or two ago was like 156. And I'm perfectly happy right now with so long as I am blessed with the fairy godmother Apple rep. I will go ahead and ride that gravy train. But I'm not shutting any doors. I know about the sales funnels. I was a big proponent of free. That's how I got so much visibility. And I'm going to be writing more books, and every book is going to be an adventure. So.
Yeah, I'm an advocate for free when you're just getting out there, as far as putting yourself out there and putting your work out there. And I think there is, no matter what, you should have that learning curve of finding what works and learning the system and really just getting comfortable with putting that much of your time and effort out for the world to judge. And I do think a lot of people will do that with a pen name and will build up their skin in that sense. But I think it needs to be done, and a lot of times, a lot of people will find difficulty if they don't do free, or at least incorporate it into their scheme off the top. But as you evolve as an author, and your backlog, most importantly the backlog, once that becomes more robust, you need to be treating it as just that, a catalog of things that you're offering to a reader.
Yeah. One other thing I'd like to say about the $4.99 price point, it's one, it's going to help me out if I go to do a book bub, which I'm always applying for. They're going to love that discount, and I don't mind discounting it for a book bub, because, who doesn't want to have thousands of people buying your paid book for 99 cents? Or the other thing is, I'm kind of full of crap a little bit, because when I do my omnibus book, I probably am not going to stick it out there for $15. So I'm probably going to go with like $9.99, and that's kind of like saying book one is free. So
you won't. Yeah, you'll make more money at $7.99, $8.99 just on the percentage basis.
Yeah. So there is that, and I can't even imagine them buying it over on Apple at $15. So.
Yeah, and I think it's about identifying the market, and in the same respect that there are tons of people who are on their Kindles looking specifically for free books and for 99-cent books and for Kindle Unlimited only books. And that in itself helps to create the market for more 99 cents books and more free books and more specifically unlimited books. so as much as there's that way of tackling Amazon, like you said, if you try to take those same tactics and apply them to another market such as Apple or Kobo, you would see very different results. And really, I think that's just because of the way that those other markets really seem to reflect more what the traditional publishers would be doing price-wise and promotion-wise. So whether it's an ebook or it's a print, you're going to be usually seeing something at least $7 to $15, $9, you know, and those will sell well because that's what you would expect to buy a paperback for.
Yeah, they make their money. They don't get as much throughput as or cash flow or sales sweep as Amazon does. So they sell less books. So when they're going to sell less books, they're still going to sell books. It makes sense for them to charge more money. The reps on both sites like it when you have stuff that's not 99 cents or free. So, you know, there you go. And I'm willing to put up with that because it's, you know, it seems to be working for me right now. I'm really happy with it. But if, you know, when that changes, and it probably will, I'll have to readjust. So hopefully it doesn't change because I'm liking what I'm seeing right now.
Well,
Although I would like some Amazon sales, to be quite honest.
Well, I imagine when your third book comes out, and then you'll probably see some more forward sales for Kick and Fool's Ride.
Yeah, I'd like to. You know, and maybe there's a $2.99 price for me later in the year for Kick. If BookBub keeps denying me, they did once with the free. It's tough, you know, to go from a free BookBub to a paid BookBub. I'm not even sure if they would. I'm almost positive they would do it for the omnibus because they're getting 2 extra books in it. So even if people had read, you know, book 1 when the free giveaway was done, they'd pick up the omnibus for $2.99. So
that's cool. No, and I find that usually it does take that third book in a trilogy when you really start seeing those kind of results. And it's good that as much as you had great result off of Kick, and that fan base was even built upon more with Fool's Ride, it'll be interesting to see where things go once Hopper House comes out.
One last thing I'd like to say, because I imagine we're running out of time, is I think there's also something to be said for the pricing of niche books. My Thief book is a niche book. It's a book told from the perspective of a criminal. It's extremely technical in the way that he compromises alarm systems and computer systems. All of it's realistic. It could actually be done. Safes, you know, the identity theft that goes on, smuggling, coming in from the Bahamas, all that kind of cool stuff. And I think there's for that book, I think that there's definitely a market. You know, it's going to be a little bit more price resilient because there isn't a lot of competition. A lot of people aren't writing this particular type of book. So I think that I'm going to have some more luck with that if I can get some visibility. You know, perhaps with a BookBub, or even I'd even go with BookSense and ENT with that. So.
Yeah, that's good advice, and I think that's smart that you're going that route, and all the luck to you, I think.
Well, thanks. I'm gonna need it.
So Michelle never joined us.
Yeah, I'm astonished that at least she didn't come in to at least say hi. But yeah, we're actually a minute past the hour, but you were 2 minutes late coming in, so.
That's true. That's true. Hey John, where can everyone go find your stuff at?
You can go to my blog, john-l-monk.com. You can see the awesome indies. You can see all the podcasts that I pay attention to, one of which is yours, Author Strong. You'll find me over on Amazon and Apple, because I keep saying Apple all night, and over on Kobo, and Barnes & Noble.
Afterthought, Barnes & Noble. Yeah, Author Strong's been great. We had, for anyone who wants to go check it out, this week we had a really cool series. It's wrapping up tomorrow, but we had a sneak peek into a coaching session with a developmental editor. She let us record the whole thing, and it's been coming out all week. So we've had a lot of positive response from that. So the last
Awesome.
one comes out tomorrow.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. AuthorStrong.com.
Gotta love the cross promotion.
That's right.
Podcasts. We love podcasts. Let's talk about more podcasts on other podcasts. All right. Well,
Are we doing an
unless
after
there's-
party?
we are indeed going to be doing an after party, so we'll be sending out the invites to everyone on the site. And yeah, thanks for everyone for listening in, and thanks, of course, to Mad Morse for filling in for Michelle.
Hanging out. I didn't
And
turn
thanks.
I didn't know I was filling in for Michelle. I should have turned my camera off some more.
Yeah, oh yeah, good point. Well, yeah, you kind of filled in for both Wade and Michelle, or you filled in for...
I think you filled in for
Me.
Wade nicely. I filled in for you and Michelle. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good job being two people at once, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I do. Multiple identities.
And of course, thanks to John L. Monk for joining us. It was a great show, so I appreciate you coming on.
I was very happy and honored to be here. Thank you.
And yes, for everyone listening live, thank you so much for commenting, and we'll be sure to get the iTunes fixed as soon as possible. I'm banking on this weekend. If I don't have it up, please send your emails to theideapool@gmail.com and complain to me all that you want. And at that, I will turn to Matt Morris, who is being me for the night. And don't you have something to say?
Good night, internets.